Hello, hello. Happy Saturday for everyone who is here live with me on this LinkedIn Live that is also appearing live on YouTube. So you might be watching on YouTube or you might be here with me on LinkedIn. So you're very welcome today. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with me. And today we are going to talk about resumes for remote jobs. Okay. Changes, improvements, things that you need to pay attention when you write a resume for remote jobs. So first I want to just make sure that the technical part is all set here, right? There's a lot of things I need to check from this side that you don't see, but a lot of buttons and all of that. So if you are connected live, I would really appreciate if you could say hi, like Renata just did. Hi, Renata, nice to have you here. Please confirm if you are live, if you can see me well, if you can hear me well, and also where are you connecting from? I know we have a very international audience, which is not surprising because we are talking about remote jobs, right? So people from all over the world can benefit from it. So my audience is normally very international. I'm always curious to know where they are connecting from. So if you're watching live, please let me know in the chat. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I will make my best to make this recording that you're going to watch useful and very practical to you. Okay. John, where are you connecting from? Okay. Oh, okay. I don't even know how to pronounce your place, John. Guernsey. I hope I said it on the right way. Hi, Aldana. Where are you connecting from? Renata is from Ireland. Very nice, very nice. So is the sound okay? I guess so, right? Because you're replying to what I asked. There were a few technical problems in one of the lives before. But anyways, it looks like it's working. Let me do the last checking here. Yes. Well, I hope it is working. I hope it's all fine. Yes. All right. So today, okay, John said perfect, and Renata also, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Today, we are going to talk about, let me put the other corner here. We are going to talk about resumes for remote jobs. And I'm curious to know this. What is your main struggle when writing a resume for remote jobs? Actually, the idea of doing this live today, and tomorrow I'm going to do another live. You are welcome to join also about LinkedIn. So the same idea, but for LinkedIn. So today I'm going to review resumes for people who want to apply for remote jobs. And the idea for this live came because a lot of people, every single week contact me and say, Julian, I'm not sure if my resume is good enough for remote jobs. I don't know what is wrong with my resume because I apply for jobs and I get no feedback. I'm not confident enough about my resume. So I hear that all the time. And I thought, look, I need to do something about it. I have different ways to support you with resume writing. So I have an online course about it, for example. I have my group mentoring specifically to help you to land a remote job starting very soon. So registrations for my group mentoring open next Tuesday, the 23rd. I will also put it here just to make sure that everyone knows it. Registrations for my group mentoring opens next week on the 23rd of May. So this is a great way for me to help you to improve your resume, for example, for remote jobs, interview skills, where to find for remote jobs and all of that. So one of the ways I can help you to improve your resume is if you join my group mentoring, I will directly assist you with everything, not only resume, but also resume. So it's a great way to have direct access to me, to have my full support during 2 months in your remote job search to achieve faster the results you want and the results you deserve. So if you're thinking about working with me, if this was an idea that was in your mind, just drop me a message. Not now, stay in the live with me, but drop me a message soon and I'll share more details about it, okay? But another way that I can help you with that is the way I'm going to do today here. So I'm going to share on the screen. This is going to be amazing. Share on the screen some of the resumes you sent me. So I got a lot of resumes. I picked up some of them, not all of them, but some of them. And I will point out 3 things that can be improved in each resume that I will share you. So it's going to be very practical. It's going to be totally based on reality. So pick a real resume and I will review, I will comment, I will critique that. So the person who sent the resume learns how to improve her or his own resume, but you also learn from it. So it's going to be very useful, and you have the resource of the chat. Okay, so you can always ask me questions, make comments, share something that maybe is specific for your case. Maybe what I said made you think about your own resume. Please use the chat. I will check it from time to time, and I'll try to answer the questions in the chat also. Okay, we have Aldana from Argentina, but connecting from France. That's nice. Maria Carolina said she was waiting on LinkedIn, but it not started there. Let me just check that. Just please stay with me for 1 second. I don't know what is happening on LinkedIn. Just please give me 1 second. That's what happens when you do a live event. You need to deal with the things that are not working. Maria Carolina, so how did you come to this chat? Because I can read you in the chat. So if you're not on LinkedIn, where are you? Oh, you're on YouTube. I see that. I see the link here. Zoraida is here, connected from Spain. Nice. Yeah, I don't know what is going on LinkedIn. Just please bear with me for 1 second. There are some people here from LinkedIn, but it looks like the platform is not showing to everyone, right? Because some people can see it on LinkedIn, but others can't. So I don't really know what I need to do here. Let me just, technology, amazing until it stopped working, right? Yeah. Let me just see if I figured it out, the LinkedIn situation, because it's not showing for some people apparently, but I do have people here that are from LinkedIn. Yeah, Maria Carolina is on YouTube. I get you. So sorry. Let me just, yeah, I don't know what to do here, actually. Yeah, it looks like some people won't be able to join it. It's going live on LinkedIn for some people, but not for everybody, which is weird. Maybe it's something local, you know, because we have people from Spain, we have people from different countries, but for some people, LinkedIn is not showing that. And I just don't know. Yeah, I'm afraid I won't be able to fix that. Apologies for the ones who are watching the recording because I couldn't. It didn't go live on LinkedIn, but it is live for some people. So yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't know how to fix that. Yeah, I will try to learn it for tomorrow because I have another live tomorrow about LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn review for remote jobs on LinkedIn. So hopefully by tomorrow I know how to go live on LinkedIn, because it's, some people can see me live, some can't. Anyway, I don't want to take much of our time together. I know it's Saturday. You probably have some plans, but this plan is going to be worth it. So let's do it. Before I share the first resume, you probably, if you're watching this live or the recording, there are 4 options for you here. So maybe you saw the post that I promoted this live, right? You were interested, you wanted to have your resume reviewed by me, and then you sent me your resume. It's an option. And maybe I picked up your resume and I'm going to review your resume live today. So this is one possibility. You sent me your resume and I will review it today. So amazing, you're very welcome here. The second option is that you heard about the live, you were interested, you sent me your resume, but because of the volume of resumes that I received, I was not able to pick up your resume today. You're still very welcome to stay here because you will learn from everything I'm sharing today. So please stay here with me. Third option is that you were interested in, learning more about resumes for remote jobs. You want to improve yours, but you didn't send your resume. You didn't, felt like sharing with me your resume. But again, please stay here because you can learn a lot from what you're going to see from my analysis, my review of the other resumes. The fourth option is that maybe you had nothing better to do. You're just scrolling down LinkedIn and you found this live and you joined. So you're also very welcome. Okay, Renata said it seems to be live on LinkedIn. I'm here. Yeah, maybe it's something regional, like for some countries it's not showing. But anyways, I'll keep going and then I will share the link for the recording. Even if your resume is not reviewed live by me today, you will learn from it. So I know that every case is slightly different, every background is different, your experience is different than mine and all of that, I get it. But the things I'm gonna share here today are useful, are applicable for everyone who wants to apply for a remote job. So even if your resume was not picked up due to the high volume of resumes that I received, I can guarantee you will still learn things that you can review your own resume and implement it. To make it even more useful to you, look what I did. I got this notebook and I took notes of every single resume I will review today. Look at that. Why is that, Juliana? To ensure that I'm not sharing the same feedback way too many times. So I was careful enough to pick up different things from the different resumes. So you will get like 3 feedbacks per resume. You're gonna have probably 12 resumes, so you make the calculation there. I won't share the same thing about every resume. I was careful enough to review them. I did my homework. I studied every resume before to give you 3 different feedbacks for each resume I will review, which means that you're going to get a lot of value out of it, okay? And also, the last but not least thing is that some resumes were amazing. Let me tell you this, like the people that I picked up the resume, some of them were like, wow, it took me a while to find something to improve. So there are amazing resumes that you're going to see here in this live. But as the purpose of the live is to help you to improve your resume, I will not focus on the things that are good already, the things that are well written, help you to sell you properly, that are attractive for remote companies. I will focus on the things that can be improved. So please don't take it personal, the comments, the improvement aspects that I'm going to share, and don't think that your resume is terrible. I will be a bit strict here. That's what I'm here for, right? To help you. But remember, I'm not mentioning the good things, and there are amazing things in every single resume I received here. So I will only focus on the parts that can be improved for the purpose of teaching you how to do it and everybody who is watching the live. All right, who is ready to start? Let me know in the chat, write ready if you're ready to start. So let me see if everybody's on the same page, if people who are live here are as excited as I am for that. So let's start. I will start with the first resume. All right, so now I needed to confirm, please, just to make sure it's all correct, that you can see the first resume on the screen. It's from Maria Carolina Silva. Can someone please confirm in the chat if you can see her resume now? And then I can start. Okay, ready? Amazing. Hi, Elizabeth. Nice to see you here. Okay. I'll just wait for the confirmation. There is some delay between when you type and when I see it. That's normal. So I'll just wait for a confirmation that you can see the first resume on the screen. Maria Carolina, she's there. Very nice, very nice. Oh, that's great. So whenever I share your resume on the screen, if you are live, just write here, as Maria Carolina did, so I know that you are here. Okay, Renata said that the resume is on the screen. Amazing. So without further ado, let's start. Let's start the review. Okay. Maria Carolina Silva, right? I will check my notes because, as I said, I prepared what I'm going to share so I don't repeat the same things all over again. All right. So she wrote here her name, then she wrote location, she wrote the phone number, her email address, and then here, this is the part I want to mention. She wrote LinkedIn profile, and then this bar, and then part of her LinkedIn URL or LinkedIn link. I clicked on it and I was not directed to your profile, Maria Carolina. So I tried to type it also on LinkedIn, on the search bar on LinkedIn, the M Carolina CP, your profile didn't appear. So my point here is make sure that when you add your LinkedIn profile, link, the URL on your resume, you should do that. That's important. Make sure you add the full link to it, because the way it is now, I could not find you on LinkedIn, okay? Another option is that you write, for example, the word LinkedIn, and then you add a hyperlink. The hyperlink is that thing that appears with a blue underline, and then when you click, you are direct. So you connect the full link of your LinkedIn profile to a word, for example, LinkedIn profile, just LinkedIn. But the way it is now, this thing, I could not find you on LinkedIn. I clicked here, I was not directed, and I was typing it on LinkedIn, I could not go to your profile. So pretty much this is useless, okay? So make sure that when you add the LinkedIn URL, the link to your profile, it works, and then people can, with one click, go to your profile. That's very helpful to recruiters, okay? So this is the first feedback about your resume, Maria Carolina. The second feedback, I'm going to scroll down the resume quickly. So we have page 1, we have page 2, and we have page 3, right? So her resume has 3 pages. You can also see the number 3 here at the bottom, right? What is my comment? What is my feedback about it? 3 pages is too long. Okay, it's not recommended for anyone to have a 3-page resume. But Julian, I have a lot of work experience. I want to share a lot of things. I get you, and I know that it's hard to like summarize things, to select what goes out, what remains on the resume. But I'll tell you the truth. I was a recruiter for 15 years. So I was dealing with resumes every single day of my life for 15 years. Well, after that, I still deal as a career coach. But anyways, there are like 19 years that I work with resumes every day. 3 pages is too long. Recruiters normally will feel lazy about it because of the work volume that they have, because they are under pressure. It doesn't justify, and I don't think it's fair, but it is the reality. So I want to keep things very real here. 3 pages, it's too much for a resume. There is a high chance that the recruiter won't read it just because it's too long, okay? My suggestion is that you try to reduce it for 2 pages. And I know that some career coaches will be very strong about 1-page resume only. There is no need for more than 1 page. You should be able to summarize in 1 page. Well, there are people who defend this idea. I don't, okay? And there are a lot of other career coaches that also don't defend the mandatory 1-page resume. 2 is not too long, but it's not too short. So you have enough space to sell yourself at the resume, but it's not too long. So 3 pages, very, very, very few cases I will recommend a 3-page resume. So overall, for you, Maria Carolina, for everyone to take as a reference, 2-page resume. So you should summarize more, okay? And then, okay. So I'm checking here what I wrote before, because as I said, I want to bring new things in every resume. So I will scroll down a little bit. We are in page 1, right? When I scroll down here, this part called my attention here, right? Career gap after moving to Portugal. Well, it called my attention for different reasons, because you put like a gray box around this part, so the color is different. You used capital letters, so I mean, if you wanted to call attention, you definitely did. So I was like, let me read what is that. And then I was checking that inside of this gray box, you mentioned a job experience that was from January 2018 until October 2019, and then there was like 2 or 3 couple of months in the between, and then you had another experience, right? And then you finished in October 2022, and September, actually before you finished this one, the Lidl Portugal job, you already started another one. So actually, I didn't find the career gap, okay? What I think that happened is that you consider a career gap because you were working in different things than you worked before. That's how I interpreted that, right? Because you were like a project manager before, then you were operation managers, and then currently you work as an agile project manager. So I'm assuming that what you consider career gap is because you worked from January 2018 until October 2022 in different areas, right? And not the same area that you worked before. Probably that's what you wanted to say. You can let me know in the chat if this is the case. But look, a career gap is when you are not working. That's the definition of a career gap. It's not when you're working in a different area than you worked before. You see, because a gap is like a period of time in the calendar, in the journey, in your career journey, that you're not working, but there is no gap here. Actually, there are some gaps a bit here, like from November 2014 until May, but anyways, that's another story. What you mentioned here, Maria Carolina, is not a career gap. You worked in different areas, so I would not call it career gap, and I would not give that much emphasis to it, okay? Actually, I'm not even sure if you need to share all those details here, because if they are related to different things, and if now different things than what you did before, and if now you want to keep working as agile project manager, requirement analyst, it's not that relevant that you share so many details about it. You could, for example, share just the job title, the company like this, and you could write something like work experience in different areas, but it's not a career gap. A career gap is when you didn't work. That's the definition of a career gap, okay? Okay, she said, my interpretation is correct. All right, so those are the 3 feedbacks I wanted to share about this first resume, Maria Carolina. So I'll ask her, because she's here, that's amazing. Was it helpful to you, Maria Carolina? Please let me know in the chat. And also for everyone that is watching, I also wanna know if this was helpful, because as I said, if it was not your resume, what I shared hopefully could help you also to review your own resume, the way you are writing it, the way you're treating your career gaps, the way you're sharing the LinkedIn URL, how many pages you have in your resume. So let me know in the chat if this first resume review was helpful before I move to the second one. Because remember, it is about her. It is about the resume that I shared, but it's also about you, because what I'm sharing, you could be making the same mistake. You could maybe never thought about it, right? And then this is to open your eyes and bring you new perspectives that you can definitely review and improve in your own resume. Maria Carolina, the one that I just reviewed the resume, she's here live, and then she said it was a perfect feedback. Those were the points I wasn't sure about. Nice. So you already identified those things. So good. Happy to help. Thank you so much. Makes so much sense. Yeah, thanks for being here live. Don't leave the live, because what I'm going to share now will also help you to keep improving your resume in other areas. So now I'm going to share the second resume. Let's go to the second one. Let me just open it here. Second resume. All right, here it goes. Carrie Louise. So Carrie, I don't know if you're live. Please let me know if you're live. I'll just mark here that I reviewed the first one. Carrie, if you are here live, let me know. Say hi in the chat. Would be amazing to have you here and get your feedback after I give you my feedback. And if Carrie is not live, in any case, we will still go on and review her resume. But Carrie, I would love to know if you are watching live this resume. Okay, let's start. Carrie, just a second. Yes, Carrie. Okay, this is Carrie Louise resume. What do I have here? Oh, okay. I know what I have here. Look, I will jump directly to the professional experience for Carrie. Remember what I said before, I will pick up different things in each resume just to give you a bigger variety of things, right? So for Carrie, I will go directly to the professional experience. And if you pay attention here, the first professional experience she mentioned, she wrote like November to April, right? The second one is this one, conference and event assistant. She wrote September to November. And then the third one, the CDT administrator, she wrote differently. Do you notice the difference here? Here she wrote August to September 2022. So guess what is missing here? Let me see if you're gonna guess. And what is missing here? What is it? The year, right? The year. Because I don't know, from November to, was it November 2022, 2021? I mean, I'm assuming it is 2022, assuming that she put from the most recent one to the oldest one, right? But look, resumes should not leave space for assumptions. That's very risky. That is very much relying on the way the recruiter will interpret your resume. So don't do this. This is very risky, and the recruiter might think like, oh, she didn't care about putting the dates. Why am I going to care about reading the resume, right? She was not careful enough. She doesn't pay attention to details. Maybe it was November 2020 until April 2023. It doesn't even November from last year. With so many guessing here, which is not good because recruiters don't have time for that. And second, they might guess wrong. So don't leave a space for recruiters to guess wrong. And one way to do is always guess right? Well, again here, November from each year, right? Here, all from which year. So just say like, for example, here, August 2021 or August 2022. Don't assume that it's obvious because it's not obvious at all. So she did the same thing everywhere. The first month, she just mentioned the month instead of month and year. And then the second, like the starting date, she only mentioned the month. And then the end date, she mentioned the month and the year. So for everyone, let's agree on always month plus year, month plus year. But Juliana, I have a career gap in my resume. I don't want to put the months because then recruiters will notice I stayed for just a small period of time. You might be thinking that. I heard from another recruiter that I shouldn't put the months because then the recruiter will see I stayed for a short period of time. I know I heard all those stories, but I will still stick with my suggestion. Month and year for the starting date, month and year for the end date, because if you don't put that, probably the recruiter will or ask you about it in the interview, so you're wasting interview time to talk about that could be on your resume. Or second, they might not even select you because it's like, oh, I don't know how long she stayed in this job, I'll just go for another candidate that I know how long the person stayed. I've seen that happen. So month and year for every starting date and every end date. This is my suggestion. Okay. Okay, let's scroll down here also. Okay, this is the part I want to mention. Check this. So many amazing stories, right? Look, 2 sabbatical periods. This is like amazing. I would love to talk to her about this experience, but that's not the purpose of here. Let me go back and stay with the resume. She mentioned here the sabbatical, right? Travel in Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and Japan. Amazing. And then look at that. She listed probably every job or some of the jobs, I don't know, that she had in this period, right? So she mentioned the job title, and then the location, and then the company, and then the country, the city and country, and then the dates. And then she did the same thing for another sabbatical period that she took, right? Is this relevant? All those jobs? I mean, I'm not saying it was not relevant as an experience, a personal experience, a professional experience. She was making money while she was there. So it was relevant for in so many ways. But when you add it to the resume, it should be relevant for the job you're applying for the company you are applying for. This is the thing. If she is not interested in working as, for example, recruitment coordinator, she just did it once because, you know, it was a job she could find when she was doing the sabbatical period, and then she worked as a coordinator for 1 month, and then that was it. It was like a short contract, a replacement, whatever. But she's not interested in recruitment. She don't want to keep working in recruitment. It was just like a one-time experience. Then don't mention it on the resume. Same thing to team PA. You know, it was a punctual thing first, one and only time. I don't even know what PA means. So maybe personal assistant, I think. Yeah. No, personal assistant. No, you do have more experience as personal assistant. But let's imagine this one, receptionist. No, Juliana, there was definitely like a more entry-level job that I took because was the first time I found back in 2013 when I was doing the sabbatical. That's it. So if it's not relevant for the kind of job you want to apply for now, don't mention it. So the resume is not a long list of every single job you did, which gives me the impression that's what she did. Like every single job she had while doing the sabbatical. Recruiters don't care about it. Remote companies are not interested in it. They want to know the experiences, the skill, the background that you have that is relevant for the remote job you are applying for. So don't feel like you need to explain and mention everything you did. No, only the ones that are relevant to the job you're applying for. So I'm assuming that out of all of that, not everything was relevant. It was relevant as your professional journey, definitely, but not all of those are relevant now for the remote jobs you want to apply for. So you can just say sabbatical, 2 sabbatical periods, traveling in Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and Japan, and put from like September, I don't know the year, September, whatever year, until June 2019. That's enough, unless you did something that is directly relevant to the job you want to apply for now. Okay, so you can pretty much save all your space here in your resume. All right. And then I didn't wrote the third thing for her. Okay. And I said I was going to give 3 feedbacks per resume. So let me just improvise here. I didn't wrote the third one. Okay. Okay. I found another comment here that might be relevant to everyone. System skills. So I'm not sure what she means, but here probably IT skills, right? And then she listed like 4 lines full of IT programs. Okay. Are all those programs relevant to the job she wants to apply for? It's the same logic of before, right? So let's imagine that she's applying for a job as a personal assistant, okay? Then she will not do anything related to Facebook, Instagram, the things I highlighted here. As a personal assistant, that's the job she's applying now, right, in the remote company. I'm assuming, I don't know. But if she's applying for a personal assistant in a remote company, let's imagine that she will not at all use Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. What it means is that she has the knowledge, she has the skills, she probably used that in previous jobs, she used it in her personal life, I'm assuming, but there is no point in listing it on the resume if it's not a requirement for the job. Why not, Juliana? Because recruiters don't care about it. That's not what they have in mind when they are screening your resume. When they are reading your resume, they are looking for the things that are requirement for the job, not everything that you did. So instead of 4 lines with IT skills, I would rather have 2 lines or even 1 line with information that is a match with what the remote company is asking for. So if they ask for someone that has experience in Microsoft Office, put it first. Put it up there. If they're looking for someone with experience in Zoom, probably they are. It's a remote company. Mention Zoom, but maybe the Zimbra, maybe the, I don't know, MailChimp, depending on what you're going to do, it's not relevant. So one thing is the skills you have, amazing. Keep learning, keep studying, keep updated with all the IT out there. But on the resume, you just cut and you mention what is relevant for the job itself. Okay. So those are the 3 feedbacks that I had about Carrie. So I think Carrie is not live here, but I hope you watch this the recording of the live after, and I hope it was helpful also to other people. So as Carrie is not here, can the ones who are watching live let me know if those comments were helpful, if what I shared about Carrie resume also resonated and gave you tips to improve your resume. Let me know in the chat. Let's chat here. Let me see if this was helpful to you. Let me know in the chat and I will get ready for the 3rd resume I want to share here. But let me know in the chat if it's helpful so far, if you are taking practical things that you can implement in your own resume, okay? Let me know. And remember, you can also ask questions in the chat and I will check it from time to time, okay? But I'm just wondering, okay, not yet. I just want to read you in the chat first. I'm just wondering if the comments I shared about Carrie's resume, if it was helpful to you, if you can rethink your own resume. So I mentioned to always mention the month and year for the starting date and the end date when you mentioned that on the resume. Then the sabbatical part, she was listing every single job she had. So the comment here is you don't need to list every single job you had, just the ones that are relevant for the job you're applying for right now. And the third one was the same thing with the IT skills. You don't need to list everything that you know how to do with the computer. I'm assuming you know a lot, so just pick up the things that are useful for that specific remote company, things that when they read, they'll say, oh, she has a profile you're looking for. Oh, that's good. I want to interview her. That's the whole purpose of that, okay? Zoraida said, so helpful, Juliana, taking notes. Please do, so I can apply your suggestions on my own resume. That's exactly the idea, Zoraida. Even if it's not your resume, you will take notes and you learn and you implement that in your resume. Amazing, thanks for the feedback. Renata is asking, is it correct to put this way, looking for an opportunity in business support operations / community management and internal communication / project coordination support? It's way too many things. So I will mention that in some of the resumes here, just stay tuned, but you should put, because imagine, you mentioned like 3 or 4 different job titles you're looking for. So if you're applying for one, I don't want to know as a recruiter for a remote company. I don't want to know about the other jobs that you want to apply for. I don't care about it. So just center in the one you are applying for with that resume. You can be interested in 3 or 4 different job titles, but when you send a resume for a company as applying for a business support operation, you just talk about business support operation. When you send a resume for a different position, you mention that you're interested in a different position. Don't mention like 3 or 4 different job titles. That's very confusing to the recruiter, and it might look like she doesn't know what she wants. You don't want to give this impression, right? Yes, that's what you wrote. Or it does look like you don't know what you want to do. Exactly. So you wrote the same thing. There is some delay, as I mentioned. So from the moment you type until I get to see it here, there is some delay, but yeah, when we deal with smart people, that's what happens. So yes, you answered your own question. Oh, good. And Aldana said, really helpful. Amazing. So let's move to the third resume. Let me share it here. Yes. Laura, let me know, please, in the chat if you can see Laura's resume here. We're going for the third resume. Laura Taras. Taras. Are you here live? If you are, please say hi in the chat. It's going to be amazing. We had one person live while I was reviewing the resume live. So Tara, if you are present watching the live, let me know in the chat. So it will be good to, just know that you're there and then hear your feedback at the end, okay? So now I'm gonna move on with Laura resume. All right, this is the resume here. Let me check my notes. Oh, okay. One thing that is very simple, but I see this mistake all the time with resumes for remote job. It's in the initial part. You see here, the phone number. What is wrong with this phone number? What is missing? It's not wrong, it's missing. It can be improved, it can be written in the better way. What is missing in this phone number? Let me see if you can guess that. She put probably like the state code, right? The 908, she put inside the parentheses. But there is one thing that is missing. She is from Greater New York, right? She wrote it here, amazing. So I know that numbers from the US, they start with +1 if the person is going to call from a different country that is not US. So if it's an internal phone call, if I'm calling from another state in the US, from US to the US, I can just mark the number like Laura mentioned. But remember, we are talking about remote companies, which are international companies. There will be people working in different countries. So if the recruiter is based somewhere that is not the US, the recruiter won't be able to call you because there is a +1 missing. So the message here for everyone, including Laura, but not only her, is remember to add the international code on your phone number, on your resume, okay? It might seem obvious, but because you don't use it probably much, right? You forget about it. Make sure you add, in Laura's case would be the +1 because she mentioned she's based in New York. So I'm assuming it's a phone number from New York. But again, like she could have a phone number from a different country, right? And yeah, I think you got my point. Just make sure you mention the international code before the phone number. Otherwise, recruiters, if they want to call you, they won't be able to do it. Simple, but very important. Yeah? Very important. Second thing, okay, it's still in the contact details, the personal details. So I'm going to talk again about this initial part of Laura's resume, okay? She mentioned this Greater New York City area. New York is a very famous city, so probably most of people, everyone, but most of people will know that New York is in the US, right? I knew it at least, but it's risky to assume that every single person that will receive your resume knows that New York is a city in the US. And this example gets a bit fluffy because like New York is a very famous city. But imagine I was born in a city in Brazil called Vitória, okay? Not Victoria, Vitória. If I mention in my resume Vitória, probably people won't know. The majority of people won't know where Victoria is. Also because like there is Victoria in Australia, there are Victorias and Victorias. There is one in Spain. There are the same city name in different countries. So if you just mention the city name, it's not clear to the recruiter where are you based. So some people will say, but Juliana, do I need to mention my location on a resume for remote jobs? You don't need to. You don't need. You can, but you don't have to. But if you decide to do it, as Laura decided, don't go just for the city name. You can mention city and country or only country, but just the city is taking for granted that everyone knows where that city is location. And some people are very bad with geography. Some cities are not as famous as New York. So don't just go for the city name because it doesn't add any value. So if you decide to mention your location in your remote resume, you don't have to do it, but if you decide to do it, it's also fine. But put city and country, or if you want to put just one thing, only the country, because it's easier to know where the country is than deduct where the city is located. All right. And the third thing about Laura is, okay, it is about the skill set, this part here. Okay, so let me mark everything like this. Yes. Laura listed 8 things that she said that are the skills she have, right? Her skill set. I'm not saying this is wrong. I would need to know more about the remote job she's applying for. But I just want to highlight here that everything that you list as a skill set or skills, key skills, whatever you want to call it, but if you give emphasis, if you share a list of the skills in your resume, I'm not a big fan of that. We'll talk more about it in other resumes. But if you decide to do it, make sure that every skill that you list is relevant to the job you're applying for. So it's the same logic of the, I think it was Carrie, listing every job she had during the sabbatical period. And I said, is this relevant for the remote job you want to apply for? Remember, this is the approach. This is the mindset. The same approach here. Are those skill sets relevant to the job Laura wants to apply for now? So let's imagine that she's applying for a job that content development is a thing. It's written there on the job description, like for the position she's applying for, it's really necessary. But maybe she won't do any agents management. How do you know that, Juliana? Well, in the job description, the job didn't mention any vendor or agents management. So she has the skill because she did that before. Amazing. She knows how to do it. Amazing. Does she need to list it here? No, unless it is a requirement for the job, because we get too much information on the resume that is not relevant. So it might make you look overqualified or not qualified for the job, or it just get this, you can distract the recruiter with so many information, okay? So again, it's not wrong what Laura wrote here. I don't know if it's wrong or not, but it should, whatever, if you list skill sets, if you do that, make sure that everything that you list is relevant for the remote job you're applying for right now. If it's not, you don't need to highlight that. You don't need to mention it in your resume. All right. Yes, check here. in Laura's resume. That's what I wanted to share about her resume. Once again, let me know, please, if what I shared about her resume was helpful to you, if you are getting some ideas that you can implement in your own resume that you can improve, if you're understanding also the way I'm thinking, because the same logic I implemented in the sabbatical period and listing the jobs, and now in listing the skills. So whatever goes to the resume should be relevant to the remote job you want to apply for. So let me know how this is going for you, if you're taking some useful information here. Dana said, really helpful. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. I really like it. Otherwise, it feels like I'm speaking, for nobody there. So as there are people live, thanks for keep sharing the feedback. Also, what else? Zoraida said the country code. Yes, it's a small detail, but it's amazing. So yes. And Desiree said, how do you ensure your resume gets past the boots? I will talk about it in some other analysis. So just stay with me. It's a very good question. I will talk about it soon. Okay. Zoraida is asking, how many skills should we list on the CV? There is no specific number. They should all be relevant. So if you mention 5, make sure the 5 are relevant. If you mention 2, make sure 2 are relevant. 20, I would say it's too much. 10, probably too much. So read the job description, see the requirements, and if you have the skills, then you can mention that. But you don't need necessarily to make a list of skill sets. You can spread the skills along the resume. I will also mention about it. But the number is as far as they are relevant for the position. So there is no set number for that. Okay. Okay. Very helpful. Thank you. All right. Good. Let's move on. We have resume number 4. Oh, this is exciting. Leslie Franco. Are you there? Are you watching live, Leslie? Are you here? If you are, I would love to say hi to you here. And of course, hear feedback after I review your resume. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm just opening it here. Leslie. All right. Leslie Franco resume is already on the screen. So if Leslie is watching live, let me know here. I have a question for everyone. I don't know. I know that on Instagram it happens, but I don't know if here there is a place that you can click like on the live or send some heart or something. Like, can you interact with the live in a different way that is not just writing on the chat? So if there is any heart somewhere on your screen, any like, make sure you click that, because also for the algorithm, for the robot, for the platform, it's good and it will show the content for more people, especially because you remember, right? Some people could not see it live. So I'm a bit worried about some technical issue here that is not sharing live for many people. So if there is any like, any heart, anything that you can click and engage with the content. When you write a comment, it also shows to the algorithm that you are enjoying the content, and then it will spread it for more people. So I ask for your collaboration, because I'm a bit worried about the people who cannot see it live now on LinkedIn for some reason. I feel really sorry about it. So if you can engage, write a comment, send an emoji on the link, just engage, because then we are telling the algorithm, this content is good, and then LinkedIn will take care to share that with more people. So please engage, write on the chat, and then it will spread for more people. There's another comment here that I haven't read before. Juliana is helping you, so okay. Michelle, I didn't really understand what you wrote. Michelle S. Juliana is helping you so well, and I'm sure with her program and support, you will accomplish what you want, fulfillment. Michelle, I'm not sure I understood. Do you mind writing again? Sorry, I'm not sure I got what you, okay. On YouTube, only comment. Okay. So you can comment on YouTube, Maria Carolina. That's going to be helpful. Thank you. Let's move on. Leslie Franco, if you're here, just say hi in the chat. Otherwise, I hope you're watching this recording. Let me see what I prepared here for Leslie. I know. Okay. The first thing that called my attention when I opened her resume was the format, right? The full format. So there is this blue part here, right, at the initial part, and then like the text was in white, and then the back was in blue, and then the other way around, like the rest here is blue, since the profile part. Well, the titles of each section are in blue, and then the background is white, and then there is this, I don't know if you can see, but like around here, the profile, there is like a gray line here, like a gray box here, the same thing for the skills and all of that. So yeah, basically she used some colors for the background, and also like some, yeah, I think this is like a text box and all of that, right? This has to do with a question that someone asked on the chat, like how can we ensure that our resume pass the boots, right? The applicant tracking system, the robots that screen the resume. Well, one of the things that you can do is avoid using writing your resume like Leslie did. It looks beautiful. I personally like it. Blue is my favorite color, so I connect with the color. But when we talk about resume, it's not about being beautiful. It's about being practical and with the right information. When you send a resume, when you apply for a job, what you want, your goal should be get a job interview. So you're applying for a remote job. What do you want? What do you expect? What is the best thing you can get out of a resume? Be invited for a job interview. A resume will not guarantee that you get the job. Okay, the job is another thing. Probably there will be more stages in the recruitment process and all of that. But the function of the resume is to get you job interviews. That said, we need to ensure, or at least increase the chances that your resume will be read by a recruiter. Some companies, some programs, some ways that you apply for jobs, they will have a robot between you applying and the recruiter reading that. What is a robot? Julian, I'm not understanding that. Some kind of software or algorithm that will filter from all the applicants to the ones that will be the recruiter will actually review, right? That's especially common in positions that have, imagine like 200 people applied for the job. The recruiter will not read 200 resumes, right? That's humanly impossible. So the recruiter will read, I don't know, 20, 30 resumes. How does it go from 200 applicants to 20 applicants? The recruiter will filter some keywords, some specific things that he or she is looking for, and then the system will give from 200 applicants, 20, for example, 25, 27, whatever. Some of those robots, boots, or applicant tracking system, that's the technical term, they work differently, okay? Some of them will not be able to read a text in white color. Wow, Julian, is it that sensitive? Some are. They keep changing. There are more than 20 ATS systems in the market, so I don't know about all of them. You won't know when you apply because you see the LinkedIn offer, you see the company's career page, you see the remote job board, but you don't know what is happening behind after you send the resume. So my suggestion is don't use like the white color for the text. Don't use like different columns and boxes to put the text. It's better to use a simple Word or PDF format, because you're increasing the chances that it doesn't matter which ATS, which robot, which software it's used to screen the resume, your resume will move forward through the process. Juliana, what about resumes in Canva? What about resumes that are more fancy and all of that? I don't recommend that because there is a risk that some of those programs, softwares, robots will not read them. All of them, Juliana, no, not all of them. They keep increasing. But as you don't know, go for the basic content over layout. Okay, this is the general rule for a resume. Content, the content needs to be good, well written, selected information, write in a powerful way, but the layout, the simple, the better. It will work out if it's a boring Word or PDF document, it will work out just well. So just don't risk it because it's risky. We don't know. We don't know. Second thing for Leslie, got it. We'll skip from the general format to the professional experience, okay, that Leslie mentioned here, and then I'll pick up this one as an example. Talent acquisition assistant, right? Again, remember, I'm only mentioning the things that can be improved. So there are a lot of great things on her resume and on the resumes that I showed before, but to make it more practical and useful to you, I would just highlight in this slide the things that can be improved. But again, all the resumes I've seen, they are amazing. They have great things, but I'll help you to improve a little bit. So I'm just putting emphasis on the things that can be improved, okay? This experience that Leslie listed here, the talent acquisition assistant. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting the bullet points. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What do you think about this number? Do you think it's a good number? Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's short? 13 bullet points. Too much? Too many of them? Okay number. It's necessary, Juliana, to explain everything. So, you know, she has good experience. It's more bullet points, right, to explain. Or she got short. She needed more bullet points that she missed adding. The answer is way too many. 13 bullet points is too much. I get that she did all those things and much more, because I mean, every time you write a resume, you already summarize it. So I get you. And the longer you stay in the job, the more things you did, probably, right? So I totally understand that your idea when you write your resume. I want to show as much as possible. I want to list as, you know, many things as possible, because it's going to help to sell me as a good candidate and all of that. No. So look, the purpose of the bullet points is not to summarize everything that you did in the job. The purpose of each bullet point you add in your remote resume is to sell you. Attention, if you're taking notes, make sure you write this one. This is important. The purpose of the bullet point on the remote resume is not to summarize what you did in the job. It's to sell you. Sell you, Juliana, what do you mean? Show that you are the best one in the market for that position. Show that you meet the requirements that the job is looking for. Demonstrate that, hey, you should interview me because you know that thing you're looking for in the job description in the job. I have that, and I'm sharing that with you in this bullet point. So out of all those things, what are the most powerful things, the relevant things for the job Leslie wants to apply for? What are the bullet points that can help to sell her as the best option for that job? Maybe she needs to rewrite the bullet points. Maybe she needs to, for sure, she needs to reduce them, right? 13 is way too much. I was going to say 3, 4, 5 maximum, but 13, way too many. And always with the approach of, is this bullet point that I'm adding to my resume helping to sell me for the position I want to apply for, or it's just a summary of what I did? If it is, it's not a good bullet point. All right, so this feedback is about bullet points, and it applies for everybody. Writing bullet points, because there is always confusion about it. My clients are always like, I don't know how to write. What is the structure? How many 3 lines? I know. So get this idea, because you know it's important the way you write the bullet points. And the third thing, okay, there is what is it? After September 2021. Yes, got it here. Look what I noticed, that this job here that Leslie had, she finished in September 2021, right? She wrote the date, so I know she finished on that date. And then the job after that, the talent acquisition one, she started in June 2022. So let me see if you're smart and if you're getting what I'm going to say. There is what happened from here to here. I don't know. You also don't know. Only Leslie know. Why we don't know? Because she didn't say anything about it. So there is a career gap, and I think it was, who was it? I think Maria Carolina at the beginning. She misunderstood the career gap, right? This is a career gap. Leslie, apparently, based on the information that we have here, right? I'm always only making assumptions based on what is on the resume. Maybe she worked in something else and she didn't wrote it here. Then I cannot know. Juliana, but you said that if the job is not relevant, the person doesn't need to mention it on the resume. Now you're being contradictory. No, I'm not being contradictory, but good that you mentioned that. I mean, you did that, but maybe you were thinking about it. If she worked in something completely different, she can just mention the job title of that, or work experience in different areas and mention that. But the way it is now, I see a career gap from September 2021 until June 2022. It's like 6, 7, 8, 9, like 9 months. And as a recruiter, I was a recruiter for 15 years, so I cannot avoid thinking like a recruiter. It just come automatically to me. I was like, what she did in those 9 months. When you don't tell your story, when you don't share your version of what happened, of your career gap, of what you did professionally, recruiters will guess. And sometimes the guess will be wrong, sometimes the guess will be right. So you don't want to mention that before, but again, you don't want to leave space for guessing. You would rather share your story and explain what you did. If you did things that are not related to the jobs you want to keep working for, just mention in one line: career gap, working in different industries, or studying this course, traveling, maternity leave, whatever. This is better than a gap that was not brought to the light, but I noticed that. So don't assume people will understand or won't notice. I noticed. There is no information about it. So yeah, don't let the recruiter just wonder about what happened. Share your story, tell what you did. If it's not directly relevant for that job, use one line of the resume. Enough of that. Okay. How was it? How was Leslie Franco resume review? I don't think Leslie is here. If you are, please say hi. If you watch the recording, let me know later. Leslie, you can write on the comments if it was helpful. And for the ones who are watching live, could you get some useful tips for your own resume? Let me know here in the chat. Desiree is asking, will those keywords be in the job description? And how would you know? Yeah, the keywords are the requirements, the skills necessary, the things that are listed on the job description, like you should have that to apply for the job. This is the experience we are looking for. You should know this computer program. You should speak this language. You should have worked in this area. These are the keywords. They will be on the job description most of the times. Some job descriptions are not updated and not complete, but that's another story. Let's assume in an ideal world that the job descriptions are fully updated. And then, yeah, the keywords will be listed there as the requirements, desirable or mandatory, the previous experience, desired experience, and then those are the things that, that's how you will know. It will be listed on the job description, okay? What is the amount of time you should note as a career gap? I don't know. Maybe like the example I mentioned from Leslie was 9 months. Maybe 6 months. Yeah. If it was like 2, 3, 4 months, it's a very short career gap, like between jobs, probably won't be an issue. But in her case, it was like 9 months. So 9 months, I was already like, maybe we can say like 6 months, more than 6 months, 5, 6 months. But there is no like, it's not written on the stone, you know. I'm just saying a number here to answer your question, but I would probably say if it's longer than 6 months, it's better that you say something about it, okay? Another question here, Juliana, what exactly do you let recruiters know that the job? That's an amazing question. Let me read that. Zoraida wrote, Juliana, where exactly do you let recruiters know that the job was done remotely? Stay with me because I'm going to mention that in some of the reviews, okay? I'm going to go to resume number 5. Let me share it here. All right. Alva, I won't even try to say her surname. Apologies for that. I'll just say Alva. I cannot pronounce this. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Henriksson. Oh, I just did it. Okay, Alva. Alva is easier. Alva, if you're watching live, let me know, please. Say hi. Say hi. I remember you from other lives that I did, so I hope you're also here or at least watching the recording later. Alva, what did I vote for Alva? As I said before, I took notes about the comments just to make sure that I'm bringing different comments in every single resume to add more value to you. That's why I keep checking my notebook here. Okay, important thing also has to do, I think it was Desiree who asked before, like how to ensure that the resume will pass the boots, the robots, the applicant tracking system, the filters, right? The algorithm that filters from I applied for the job and the resume was, appeared to the recruiter. What happens in the between? Sometimes there is a program filtering those resumes, especially when there is a lot of people who applied for the same job, and recruiters won't have time to review all of them, so they use artificial intelligence machine to help with filtering that. With that said, it's similar to the comment I mentioned before, but I think it's relevant to mention that again. I don't know if you can see that, but this is like one. No, I don't know if you can see the colors. It's slightly more gray. This part of the resume, the left side, my left at least, there is like a gray color in the background. This is what you might not see, but of course you can see that there are clearly two columns on the document. The document is, in one side you have her name, the position, the contact, the links, the location, and on the other side, right, you have the work experience. So pretty much the file is divided in two parts, two big columns. Is this recommended, Juliana? No. Why not? For the same reason I explained before. Some of the robots, the applicant tracking system, will not read the information that is on the columns, okay? Some will, some won't. How will you know? You won't know. So I recommend that you use the format we saw before, a Word document or a PDF document, like from the bottom until the top, no two columns, just one, like regular text. It's safer. So again, content comes over appearance, right? And she's a designer, so I understand that it's like, creative people and designers, they are like, oh, but that's a boring way to write it. I know it is boring. Good news, if you are sending your resume directly to someone, for example, via email or on LinkedIn chat conversation, if you're not applying through LinkedIn for a job, through a company's career page, or through remote job board, if there is no application process, if you're sending that to the recruiter, you're sending it, forwarding your resume to the hiring manager, then you can go as fancy as you want, because there is no robot in the between. It's a person that will receive that. But when you apply your resume through career page, LinkedIn, remote job board, avoid two columns, because some of the programs will not process the information correctly. The text get a bit messy. Okay, sometimes they read like UX designer project, UX design audit, like the way, yeah. So just, it's better not, okay? What else for Alva? Oh, yes. There is one thing that is missing here at the beginning of the resume. Some of the, I think all the other resumes, most of them at least, had it, but Alva doesn't have on her resume. Let me see if you can guess if you're also missing that already, because look, she jumped from the contact details, right? Her name, position, contact, links, where she jumped already to work experience. So there is something missing between the contact details and the work experience. You know what is it? Let me know in the chat. I will read it soon, but just curious if you know what is it that is missing on Alva's resume. It might be missing your resume, so please make sure you add that, because it's very important. It's the summary. A place that you are going to highlight main things that, again, are relevant for the job. So you don't highlight random stuff. No, not, oh, I have nothing to put there, I'll just put fluffy soft skills. No. In the summary, you highlight what is relevant for the remote job you're applying for. It works like a trailer of a movie. So I don't know how old you are. If you remember when we could only watch movies in the cinema, there was no Netflix years ago. Getting old. So before going to the cinema, but still today is the same thing. You watch the trailer of the movie, right? You watch it, and If the trailer is good, is attractive, if you feel like that's a good movie, I want to watch that, then you go, when you pay the price, you buy the ticket and you watch. The the summary works like the trailer of the movie. Before reading the resume, the recruiter have like a small taste, like the highlights of it, to decide, that's a good resume, she has what I'm looking for, I'm going to keep reading. Or like, there's not really match with what I'm looking for in this position, I would just skip to another resume. Remember the time recruiters will spend on your resume screening, like a general screen like this. Quick look. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like 6 seconds, more or less, this time I spent. And then they will decide if they want to read carefully your resume. So you want to make sure that, especially on the upper parts of the resume where the summary should be located, you mention, you have a summary that mention the highlight, the important things that are a direct match with the resume, to direct match to the job description requirements, sorry, to increase the chances that the recruiter keeps reading it. So always missing the summary. If you're missing the summary, a career highlight on your resume, make sure you add that, okay? And then, I think it was this, no, I think it was Zoraida who asked where to mention that you work remotely on the resume. Yeah, so look, let's talk about it now. This is amazing. Look here. Alva mentioned remote on her current job. I mean, I'm assuming it's current because she just put April. So I don't know if she only worked in April or if she's still working on the job. If she is, she should write April 2023 and then space and put present. So I know it is until the present, but that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to highlight that Alva mentioned remote here. Actually, she wouldn't need to mention United Kingdom here, as she mentioned remote already. Only remote would be enough. So this is one great, easy to identify way to demonstrate that you work remotely. So when you're talking about the company, instead of writing the location, so you could remove the UK and put just remote. So this is one of the ways, and she did in other places also. You see here in this job also, the UX designer job, she also mentioned remote. Here too, wow, a lot of remote work experience. That's amazing. Yeah, okay, here it was not remote, or she didn't mention, so I'm assuming it was not remote. But my point is, yeah, that's what I wrote here. She just did that. She just mentioned remote. But when I read the bullet points, she's not referring to the remote work experience. She's not talking about the achievements she did as a remote work. She didn't, let's say, maximize the information she could share about remote work. Because think with me, she's applying for a remote job. She has at least 3 remote work experience. So I was expecting more. I was expecting reading the bullet points and see something linking directly to her remote work experience. Maybe some tools that she used, maybe how she excelled, I don't know, delivering the work to the clients in 10 different locations without any issues, working with a team, spreading 5 different countries, working in an asynchronized company. You know what I mean? Examples that maximize, not only right remote, because it got kind of short. It's like, well, she worked 3 times as remote, and I don't see anything that demonstrated that she was good working remotely, the achievement that she had and all of that. So if you have remote work experience, and I know a lot of people watching do have, they want to land a better remote job, which is amazing. Use more this experience in your resume. Play with the bullet points and make sure you start thinking like, what achievement can I share that not only demonstrate that I work remotely, this is like step 1, but the second step that I'm inviting you to go now is like demonstrate that you worked well as a remote worker, demonstrated that you achieved amazing results, demonstrated that you won a prize, that you were effective, that you're delivering good results. So yes, say that you work remotely, and this is an easy way. Instead of putting the location, you just write remote, but you can go another step further and talk more about the remote work job itself and achievements, and how was it, the tools and the results that you got. All right. Yes, I think that was it for Alba, the 2 columns, avoid that, missing the summary, and explore more the the remote work experience. She has an amazing three times she worked as in remote companies, right? So she can make more of that, explore more of that in the resume. All right. Comments in the chat, feedback. Wow, we are past an hour already. I won't be able to review all the resumes. I picked up 12. We have done 5 so far. I also want to be cautious with the time. Wow. Let me know in the chat if this has been helpful, if you are learning from it. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do the 12 because it's going to be really, really long. Wow. What do I do now? I could keep going. I'm just, being careful with your time because we have been here for like 1 hour and 15 minutes already. Let me know in the chat if you're taking value out of this live. Let me see what Aldana wrote. You talked about writing too much information, but what about don't having enough experience or having been always doing the same job? Oh, that's a great question, Aldana. If you don't have too much information, well, you're going to maximize the things you did in the job that are relevant for the job you're applying for. So let's imagine that as, I'll share a real example of a client I was talking this week. Let me just remember the example here to don't be confusing for you. Yes, okay. So she works in aviation as an engineer, okay? And she was mainly doing engineering things, but there was a small part of her job that she was doing some data analysis within the department. She was the one doing some data analysis, and she wanted to pivot her career from aviation, that she's not finding remote jobs in aviation. She wanted to pivot to data analysis because what she did, she liked, and she's like, considering studying, like taking a course out of that, but I do have some experience as data analyst. And then I asked her, how much of your time do you do the data analysis tasks? And she said, maybe 10% of the time, 90% I'm doing the engineering tasks. And I said, okay, so when you apply for the positions as data analyst or business analyst, position in the new area, make sure that you talk more about this 10% than about the other 90% that the tasks that are not related to data analysis. So you maximize the small experience that you have related to that job. That's one way to do it, okay? If you have always been doing the same job, I will invite you to really think hard and identify things that were different between jobs, because sometimes it's always the same job title or the same job in the same company, like 10 years doing the same thing. But I know the job evolves and changes slightly from things. So when you were hired, you're doing this. Then they also give you this task and then another task. Or for example, I was a recruiter for 15 years in my life. So I did a lot of times the same thing, screening resumes, contacting candidates, presenting report to the manager, interviewing candidates. That was in every job because that's basic things that recruiters do. But in one job, I was recruiting this kind of profile. In this job, I was doing in-person interviews. In that job, we had a panel interview. In this job, I had to create a report to the manager. In that job, I had to use a specific ATS program. You see? So look for the details that are different and talk about them, because otherwise it's going to feel like in 10 years you did exactly the same thing, which probably you didn't, okay? And again, whatever you mention, make sure that it is relevant to the job you're applying for, okay? Desiree is asking, does it matter where on your resume your skills go? No. So some people like to create this skill session on the resume, which is one way. I'm not a big fan of that because normally the skills are completely out of context, like communication skills. That's it. I would rather read a bullet point where you demonstrate that you have good communication skills. So to answer your question, they can go anywhere. They can go at the beginning. They can and they should go spread on the work experience itself. You can put it at the end. So it's more common to be at the beginning, because if you're listing the skills that are relevant to the job. It's good that the recruiters see that first, right? But just listing the skills is not as powerful as demonstrating that you have the skills, giving an example, sharing numbers, a specific situation, and all of that, okay? I think because of the time, I don't want to make it way too long, because I think your concentration level probably will drop. I have like 7 more resumes that I prepared. Look, I'll show you. I have all my notes here. I got excited about it. I might do another live another day. Let's see how we do it. But I think for now, I will start going towards the end of the live. So let me thank you again. So in case you were watching live, thank you very much for your energy, for your comments, for your support here. If you're watching the recording, well done for staying until the end. I hope you also took a lot of value out of that. And let me know if you're live here, 2 more minutes with me, please. Your main takeaway from this live session, from the 5 resumes that I reviewed here. So let me know your main takeaway. And in the meantime, while I read you, because there is some delay, I just want to share one thing here. Let me see if I can do that. Yes. So let me know your main takeaway in the chat, please, please, please. And I will share one more thing here while I read you. One thing that you learned, one thing that you're going to implement in your own resume, one thing that was useful to you, one thing that you didn't know, maybe it's like, wow, this was completely new. So let me know it. And I'm trying to share one thing here. See if I'll be able to. Let me see. Yes. I think I will. Yes, probably yes. Let me just read you here. Very helpful session, Juliana. Thank you so much for your time and for this amazing information. Nice, nice. Let me share one final thing here. Keep sharing in the chat, please, your main takeaway, what you learned from it. And I want to share one thing here. Yes. All right. So look, this is a QR code. I hope it works with me sharing. If you grab your phone, let me know if it works out. Hopefully, yes. If not, I can send it to you later, but hopefully it's going to work. And if you scan this QR code, you're going to be directed to the landing page where I share more details about the group mentoring that I am launching soon. So registration is open next Tuesday, the 23rd. So if you want to work with me directly, if you want to have my full support in your remote job search, this is one amazing way to do it. Can someone confirm if the QR code works? I cannot check that because my phone is not available at the moment. Please let me know if the QR code works. If you liked this live, if you took value out of that in like 1 hour and a half, imagine what we can do together for 2 months. Imagine how many amazing things I can personally and directly help you in your remote job search. So if you liked this, 1.5 hours, you can have me for 2 months, unlimited access to me, live sessions with me, and much more in my group mentoring. Registrations are open since next Tuesday, the 23rd. So if you have any question, if you want to know more, if it works, thank you. Great. You can just scan with your phone, the QR code, and you go direct. You'll be directed to the landing page for the Final Remote. That's the name of my group mentoring. Registrations are open on next Tuesday, the 23rd. There will be special conditions for the ones who join on the 23rd. So if you want to do it, I suggest that you check it now and get ready for Tuesday to already make the payment and join on the first day, because there will be some surprise I cannot share yet, but there will be some amazing things only for the ones who join on the 23rd, okay? All right, let's finish the live. Thank you very much once again. Tomorrow I will do another live. Just stop sharing here. Yes, tomorrow I'll do another live about LinkedIn. So the same thing that I did with resumes, I will do with LinkedIn. I will review some LinkedIn profiles live and share 3 tips for each resume for you to have a better LinkedIn profile for remote jobs. So if you like today, you are my guest to join tomorrow. Okay. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And okay, one takeaway here, definitely to write only what is needed on my CV according to the job description. Amazing, amazing. Please keep sharing your takeaway on the chat because I can read that after we finish the live session. Okay, thanks to you, and I'll see you tomorrow for another live about LinkedIn. Take care. Bye.